Hi, I'm Jasper Pattendon at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to Wycombe Sound.
The Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show on Transfer Deadline Day. Very interesting doing a Wycombe Wanderers Show on Transfer Deadline Day. There's quite a lot of things you might not know might be happening or might not be happening. We'll keep you across any breaking news in the next hour, if there is any, and if not, still plenty to bring you instead, or as well, I should say. We're talking to you the day after Wycombe Wanderers moved to within a game of Wembley in through to the semi-finals for the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, thanks to an emphatic 4-1 victory at home last night against Brighton and Hove Albion's under-21s. Fantastic performance as well as results. We'll be looking back at that. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield, who has not been too well of late, so it appears, and also hear from Kieran Sadlier, who scored 2 goals. We'll catch up with Matt Butcher, who is one of 2 new signings who were unveiled at last night's game. Matt at half time, of course, arriving from Plymouth. That was less well known. I think it was well known by anybody, but I think it was sort of rumoured, wasn't it? There was some speculation during the day that he might be arriving. We'll have a match briefing from Phil in a few moments' time, who we spoke to in the last hour due to his club commitments. I didn't get a chance to chat to him live, but we'll be bringing him the latest as of an hour ago. And as I say, we'll keep you up to date with any breaking news. Transfer Deadline Day in the next hour as well. We'll look ahead to the trip to Cheltenham on Saturday, which you'll be able to hear live here on Wycombe Sound, 106.6 in the Wycombe area, and on Wanderers TV as well. Of course, we'll hear from the manager post-match from last night. Did I mention that already? I might have mentioned that already. Thanks to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, we'll catch up with striker Andy Rammell, who almost exactly 23 years ago jumped in the snow after scoring against Wolves, you may remember. That was in January. It's his birthday later this month as well, perhaps even next week, I think. Great to catch up with him. And we'll hear from Danny Harrigan, who's a new coach at Wycombe Wanderers Women, who works full-time at Queen's Park Rangers. So he'll be bringing lots more to the Chair Girls as well for the remainder of their season. All that and possibly lots more on the way as well, including a bit of a preview of the sustainability strategy. We'll be catching up with the Foundation's Chief Executive, Mark Gateskill, on tomorrow's show. Although, if you're listening on the podcast, it'll be on the Friday, the 2nd of February, just after midday's show. You can look up on the Listen Again feature on the website. But first, our regular chat with Phil after what was a fantastic evening last night all around Adams Park.
Yeah, well, cup football's all about winning the game. They did that in some style as well, and hopefully it can have an impact on the league form too as well, because a confidence-boosting 4-1 victory, some really good goals in there as well, and some real positives to take. Jason McCarthy's first start, and he looked really lively and involved in a couple of the goals. Kieran Sadlier looking really sharp. Richard Kona, another decent performance. Lots to be excited about, and the draw on Friday as well. So one game from Wembley from a cup final, which adds to all the excitement as well. But obviously the backdrop is the league, and we need now to use this as a springboard. It's been said before, we now need to do it again. Going into Cheltenham on Saturday, it's a massive league game. So hopefully the boys can take confidence from what happened on Wednesday night and apply it on Saturday.
So we'll hear from the manager later on in the show, but I guess it's not really just the result, but the manner of it that was so pleasing as well.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it was a really good game to watch. We know quite a lot about these under-21 sides now, having played a few of them over the last few weeks, and Brighton had done really well, I think, in terms of what they've done, getting through some tough games in this competition. And I think Wycombe really took them apart at times. And this is a team that's kept 4 clean sheets in this competition coming into this game. So the 4 goals are really good. And as I mentioned earlier on, Kieran Sadlier looked really sharp, took both his goals really, really well. And he was very happy when I spoke to him after the game.
It's the main aim, obviously, to win the game. That's what I'm most happy with. It's good to score a couple of goals and involved in another. And it was something I've been saying to the gaffer. I wanted to add more goals to my good performances recently and to really show for it. And I'm really happy with that tonight. I was getting in goal scoring positions more and getting in the box more. I think that's what I said to him the other day. And it's a good night all round.
Talk us through the first goal, because it came off the post, but there was plenty to do from there.
Yeah, no, Dalo could have swiveled and shot, but I think it shows a maturity and a calmness to kind of settle and take a touch and then set me in. So that's good assist from him. And obviously I've just struck through it with my left foot. And the second goal, Jason's gone down the right, put a good ball in. Dalo again could have shot himself, but he's run over it, and I've just nice little bit of movement, I guess, and just kind of like rolled it into the far corner. Two good goals, happy with them. But again, getting in the box, and if you get in the box enough times, I think you're going to get chances, so I'm happy with that.
Their keepers produced a fantastic save as well to deny you the hat-trick.
Yeah, no, it was a top save, to be fair. I've caught it lovely. Dalo again actually involved in the goal. He's put a lovely ball across, and I've caught it on the half volley, left foot, and it's front post. He's put his palm out, and is a top save. But another night, if I caught it badly, it might have just trickled in. But I've caught it nicely, and to be fair to him, he's pulled off a great save.
3 goals now this season in this competition, 4 for the season for Wycombe. You like this competition, don't you?
Yeah, no, I've had some good success in this competition the last 2 years, 3 years. As I was saying, just in there, I've won it a couple of times but never played in the final. I've played all the way up until the semi, I think, and then left. Now we're going to have a tough game, whoever it is in the semi, out the 3 teams left, and we want to get to Wembley, like all of the teams. But we'll concentrate on the league now, and then when the draw gets announced, we'll prepare for that when it gets closer.
How can Wycombe use this competition to convert this into good league form?
I think it's just consistency. We scored 4 goals tonight, which is good. We're putting the ball, we're taking our chances tonight. We had countless other chances as well, and I think we can take it into the league. We've just been consistent. We've been in every game. We've been in every game really, like in the last 10, 11 games, and we just give away sloppy goals all throughout. It's no one's fault individually. It's just everybody. I don't know what it is really. It's always late though, and we want to change that. And we've been working on it. We've talked about it countless times, and tonight was a positive night. It was a positive night in front of goal. And apart from their goal, we've pretty much kept them out. They play some lovely football, but we've dealt with it really well, and we controlled most of the game.
And half-time, the unveiling of Matt Butcher, and also the showing off of Berily Labala, who we signed earlier in the week. 2 new fresh faces in the squad. Yeah, no, 2 good players. Played against them both before in past seasons. Obviously, this season, Bez, and obviously Matt's come from Plymouth, playing in the Championship, so he's been there in the Championship and done well with a good club like Plymouth, and so I'm looking forward to getting to know them. I've only just met Bez yesterday, but obviously met Matt today. Looking forward to getting to know them and play with them, yeah.
Great to hear from Kieran, and he does obviously speak so well, and as he said there as well, really hope positive news that can be taken into the trip to Cheltenham and the rest of the sort of the league form as well, that boost from such a great cup performance.
Yeah, that's what the boys need to do now. They need to apply this into a league game on Saturday. Cheltenham are a team that are on the up after a dreadful start to the season for them. But Darryl Clark's made them very competitive and given them a shot at staying up, which I think a lot of Cheltenham fans in October would have been very surprised at, to be in this position. So he'll be looking to keep kicking on and make them even more competitive as the games roll on.
As mentioned, speaking to you on deadline day, but there was a bit of a is there a deadline day eve? I'm not sure. But sort of unveiling at the ground last night as well, which was a real boost as well for 2 new arrivals. Berily Labala, or Bez, to his friends, is a good signing from Burton. You know, he's Burton's top scorer. He scored a cracking goal earlier in January against Wycombe Wanderers for Burton. I think adds a few more options up top as well, which is great. And then the surprise one at half-time, it was done just in time, and the paperwork came through in time to be unveiled at half-time. Matt Butcher from Plymouth Argyle, a defensive midfielder, a tall defensive midfielder, won the league last year with Plymouth, played over 40 games for them. He's been involved in the matchday squads in the Championship for Plymouth too. He's come here for regular starts and game time. He's a Wycombe Wanderers player. This is a direct signing, as is Labala. 2 really good bits of business done in the days leading up to deadline day. So it's been a good end to the window so far. And Richard Kone's arrival as well has really excited fans, and how he's done, what an impact he's made too.
Yeah, great story. And he's really grabbing his chance too. And he didn't score against Brighton, but he had a really, really good performance and showed some great touches and awareness around the box and brought players in. I think you can see why everyone's so excited about him.
And also, just there's been a few departures to date with TJ going as well, but a great move for him, I guess.
Yeah, look, he needed regular game time, and I think it was becoming clear that wasn't going to happen at Wycombe Wanderers. Great to see him get off the mark in his first game off the bench for his club back home in Gibraltar. We wish him all the best. He's a great guy, a real fantastic attitude, and I hope he really takes this opportunity and kicks on.
And some of the loan players, of course, who've gone back or gone to other clubs, I guess many fans would have hoped that some of them would have stayed a bit longer.
Of course, but that's the way of the windows these days in the clubs as well. And we've seen Wycombe change their style and formation a bit this season. So this opportunity in January comes for those agreements to be broken and allow players to find alternative homes. And again, we wish all three of them the very best in terms of their future careers and the part they played in this season.
What's the atmosphere like at the club on transfer deadline day? Do you get some players who are going, "Oh, I might get some inquiries," or there might be some players who just think, "Oh no, I'm definitely staying," or there are some players who are hoping that other players will be arriving?
It's it's very settled up here. Training is first and foremost. Obviously, everything, the circus outside of that is what it is, and obviously it's a lot of agents and other bits sort of doing stuff who aren't here. So yeah. But in terms of I don't think we're expecting any departures here at all. And in terms of stuff coming in, there's always work being done, and until it's signed and sealed and delivered, it will be announced as and when things can be. But yeah, rest assured that I speak to you at 6 o'clock on transfer deadline day, so there's 5 hours of the window remaining. Work is being done, and we'll see what happens between now and when the window closes.
It does still sound like quite a long time when you put it like that.
You can do a lot in 5 hours, can't you?
A lot could happen. I think fans, especially, they're obviously keen to see sort of new arrivals and strengthening the side as well. But I think when you spoke to the manager after the game on last night, he was saying that there are a couple that they hope to sort of do, but it won't be rushed. And it's really exciting as supporters to think there might be further arrivals and reinforcements.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's also worth pointing out as well. Yes, of course, it is deadline day. It's the last opportunity to get business done this season. But clubs, and certainly Wycombe as well, and I know they're not alone in this. It's a year-round strategy. It's window to window. You're planning sort of 3-4 windows in advance for a lot of this as well. But then obviously you're then dealing and reacting to things that are happening during a season. And what we're seeing a bit of both of that approach at Wycombe Wanderers in this window, I think. From what we've seen already. So hopefully when the window shuts this evening at 11 o'clock and come Saturday, I hope the fans are pleased with what's been done.
No, absolutely. Does it feel like it's a bit sort of in the way, in a way? Because obviously, as you say, there's only 2 days to go till the next game as well.
Yeah, it's been a busy week because obviously the cup game being the day later than normal for Wycombe on a midweek on a Wednesday. Big game on a Saturday too, but there's 17, 18 games after Saturday left in the league, plus whatever's left in the cup, potential another 2 games there, at least one more. So look, it's obviously Saturday's a hugely important game, but it's important and imperative that the work of the transfer window is looking for the rest of these games right up until the end of April.
Because I think as well, there again it was highlighted last night, but it doesn't take much, does it, for injury or more than one injury, or just for a sort of a need to develop in one particular area, or more than one perhaps. Exactly that. That's the great unknown in football. That's the variable. Injuries, illness, etc. Have played their part. So for many clubs, but you have to plan as best you can and due diligence, etc. And make sure there's cover and availability. Every club has to deal with injuries. We all know the score on that. But it's about making sure that obviously the other big thing as well is staying within the financial fair play rules too. So it's about having the squad depth, the quality, the cover, and enough to win games on a Saturday. And did you get the sense from last night, just thinking, this could be that things are starting to turn? We've spoken in previous weeks about the chances that have been created, and there are plenty of shots, and it really feels like things are starting to go the right way now. Yeah, it's been fine margins, hasn't it, for quite some time, and that's
that is as frustrating as it is promising as well, but we all understand the nature of it. So that's how it is. Fine margins, and we need to make sure we're coming out on the right side of those.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting time, and really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and look forward to you bringing us the game on Saturday.
Nice one. Cheers, Colin.
Phil speaking to us from the training ground about an hour ago. There were some noises in the background, weren't there? That suggested a deal could be being done. Yes, do look out for it. You do get the impression that there could be an arrival before the deadline closes at 11 o'clock tonight. Don't forget you can catch up with that chat with Kieran Sadlier, the full one on the website and on Wycombe Wanderers website and on Wanderers TV as well. And you can also hear the full version of a chat with Matt Butcher, who Phil caught up with after the game last night as well.
Delighted to get it over the line. Obviously left it quite late in terms of the window, but here now, and obviously got to watch the game, which was positive, and hopefully can put us on a bit of a run and get that momentum going for Saturday.
Obviously not a big crowd because it's the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, but a first experience of the Wycombe welcome.
Yeah, got a nice little welcome when at half time. Met a couple of fans, so it was nice, and just good to see the boys, and obviously met all them today. A lot of new faces, so no, it's positive.
I'm sure some Wycombe fans will remember you playing against us, but for those that don't, what are you going to bring to the team?
So I'm a midfielder. I feel like I play with energy, can get around the pitch quite well, obviously getting on the ball as well, being part of that. Pretty comfortable in across different positions in midfield, so hopefully can suit a different couple of systems, and hopefully, a bit like I said, build on that momentum that we just had today and we'll win some games.
And some real happy memories in League One last season too.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable year for me. Obviously, first season at Plymouth and got promoted. And I know this club's had success in recent years, so I know that hunger and wanting to do that again would be top of everyone's wish list. And being a part of that group just made me wanted to be a part of another group like that, and speaking to people that have been here in the past and know how the people here operate, that was a massive driving force in terms of why I wanted to come.
With a large part of the season left to go now, be helping drive Wycombe back up the table.
Yes, exactly. Obviously, looking at the squad from outside, it looks like a great squad, and obviously it's a tough league. Momentum's massive as well, like I've just touched on. So you never know. Tonight's a great competition to get that ball rolling, and it's obviously a massive game on Saturday that hopefully we can continue that.
Former Plymouth midfielder Matt Butcher speaking to Phil. You can hear more, as I say, of that on the club's website, including his reflections on scoring against Wycombe as well. Something else that the club will benefit from is the sale of striker Ali Al-Hamadi, of course, former Wanderers player who moved on to AFC Wimbledon and has now joined Ipswich Town in the Championship for an undisclosed fee. He's 21 and signed with the club till 2028 after scoring 17 goals in 29 appearances for AFC Wimbledon this season. He's won 12 international caps for Iraq as well, and has been with them at the Asian Cup since the start of the year. Wish him every success, and as mentioned, the club's set to benefit from that move as well.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show on Transfer Deadline Day. Anything could happen in the next sort of 40 minutes. Or maybe not. You don't know, do you? Anything or nothing could happen. Or, Anyway, we'll be hearing from the manager, Matt Bloomfield, speaking after the game last night, reflecting on that fantastic win to get the club into the semi-finals of the EFL Trophy, now called the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, of course. But first, with thanks to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, I've been catching up a little earlier on today with former striker Andy Rammell. Brilliant to reflect on, of course, his iconic goal celebrations against Wolves when fans cleared the pitch of snow to make the game playable. Of course, we've just passed that anniversary as well with the FA Cup latest round of fixtures. But first, let's reflect on his earliest memory from his time at the club when he signed from Walsall.
Earliest memory is probably, unbelievably, my debut, I think. It was against Bristol Rovers and I got sent off. So, yeah, I think that was my debut.
Certainly memorable.
Certainly memorable. I think it was a 50-50 with the keeper that I just got there a bit late because of my lack of pace and just left a little dangly foot, I think.
Because I guess fans might have thought it was quite a controversial signing because obviously you were a bit older, especially for a striker, I guess, and perhaps would have thought, this is a bit of a strange acquisition.
It was, most definitely. When I spoke to Laurie about coming, I got the gist that the fans thought I was a little bit past it and they ought to spend their money a little bit wiser. And I think it was because Sean had got a long-term injury, and I think it was to like bridge a gap, to be fair. So there was a lot of speculation when I come, but hopefully I changed a few minds when I arrived.
Absolutely. Did you feel quite sort of confident yourself, thinking, I could really make a difference here and make an impact here?
Most definitely, because like I said, I'd come from Warsaw after a few good years there, scored a lot of goals, and in football, the older you get, the more confident you're in your own abilities. When you're a bit younger, you've got doubts, but like I said, I don't know how old I was really. If you've got any clue,
34, I believe.
Phew, there you go. Gosh, in my prime. Yeah, and I went there, and they were a great set of lads, and they had a few older lads at the time, so fitted in quite nicely, and we got off and running. I think my first game was against my first goal was against a Midland team. I come on as sub, and I think it was way out, and I've just had a swing at it, and it's flew in, so it just got better from there, really.
And as you say, you seem to fit in so quickly and so well, especially with that group of players at the time.
Yeah, because the group of players, mate, I think were just good, solid professionals with a bit of flair, but we were all 100%ers. That's what I remember from my time. And, I fitted in quite nicely with that, to be fair.
And I guess there was a group of you from the same neck of the woods that you were coming from as well.
Yeah. There was me, Brownie, and Tails used to drive in from Derby. Well, we used to pick Brownie up on the way, and he used to sleep the rest of the way in. But so it shared the drive in, and it was good fun. We had a good crack, to be fair.
No, absolutely, really special times, and I'm sure. I guess it depends on the sort of the generation of fan, but there was probably a blizzard in the 1950s where Lokes Park was completely covered in snow. But there are two, I think, main images that people think of in terms of snow. There's the famous John Motson picture where he was on the pitch, but then of course your celebration and that obviously that year, I guess you couldn't really have imagined in the earlier parts of the rounds either that you'd have got as far as you did in the cup and it would have gone so well and gathered such momentum.
Oh gosh, yeah! It just it come from nowhere, really. I think it's the beauty of the FA Cup, isn't it? You start on a journey. Let's get past this. Let's get past that, and then all of a sudden you're riding the crest of a wave, and everything seems possible. And
of course, you only just passed the anniversary once again. I'm sure you're often reminded, or perhaps don't like to be reminded as to how long ago it was, but the 24th of January, and it was, that snowy occasion. I was saying to you, I remember, working on the radio at the time and putting out an appeal for people to clear the pitch.
Yeah. Like I was saying to you before, I think me, Tails, got in the car not expecting the game to be on, but the gaffer says, make your way down there, and if it's off, we'll do a bit of running. So, we've turned up and we've seen the pitch early doors because we got there earlier. And then we come out after we got changed and the pitch was cleared. Everything was, piled up at the end of the pitch. And I hear it was the fans and it was most voluntary, weren't it?
No, absolutely. Yeah, people brought sort of shovels and stuff themselves and just turned up because obviously wanted to get the game on. Yeah,
it was great, wasn't it? It was... like you say, an iconic moment for myself. I never planned it either. I didn't see the snow before and thought, if I score, I'll jump in that. It was just a off the cuff kind of thing.
It's not a previous goal celebration that you've done previously in bad weather.
No. And to be fair, it was a bit chilly on the nether region, so I don't know if I'd do it again.
Perhaps you regretted it almost instantly. But definitely one for the cameras and so pleasing as well because that was a real kind of springboard. But obviously there were so many points in that run as well, even against Grimsby and obviously the penalties against Wimbledon as well.
Yeah. The penalties against Wimbledon stick them on mine massively because I come off with a hamstring, so it was really took out of my hands, and the rest of the guys done marvellously with Tails as well. And I can't remember much about the game. I remember pulling my hamstring, and then I remember celebrating with Tails afterwards. So it was just a great feeling.
Does it feel like 23 years ago? Because I think if you say it quickly, it doesn't sound like any time at all, does it?
No. When I had the call to come on Wycombe Sound, it was the time that had passed was told me, and it was a bit of a fall down moment, to be fair. It probably seems about 10 years ago at the most, but that's just getting older and the age creeping up on us, I think, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And was there a time where the group of you thought, we're doing something really special here, and this could be quite exciting what we're creating?
Yeah, well, right from pre-season, really, we things were going so well, and I think we was doing really well in the league till the cup run. I'm not sure, but I've got a memory of us being up there and roundabouts, and we was talking about playoffs and all sorts. And then obviously the FA Cup run come and took over that, and we just fell away.
But as I say, the sort of the rapport that you had with many of the players, and I'm sure you're still in touch with many of them today.
No, I'm not. I when I finish football, there's nothing worse than a footballer that can't play football. So I decided to get away from it totally, find a new career, and when you do that, a lot of the guys that stay in football stay in them circles, and it's really hard to keep in touch. Really, I've got a few WhatsApp chats, but I must say, I probably speak to Brownie now and again on LinkedIn or something like that. And that's about it, really, which is a shame.
And what was your relationship like with the manager as well? I imagine great to play under Laurie.
Yeah, Laurie was, when I first went, he was a little bit intimidating, but he gave the feeling that he was pleased to have me, which for anyone, if you feel wanted, then you tend to fit in quite nicely. And it went from strength to strength. And he's a black and white kind of guy. If he don't like something, he tells you, and if he does, he keeps it to himself. But I enjoyed playing under Sanch. To be fair, he was good.
You must have been so pleased with your goal return as well, especially in your senior years, as we mentioned, and considering the issues that you've had with your knee previously as well.
Yeah. I can't remember if I had a knee injury at Wycombe. I don't think I did. I might have, to be fair, because I had them everywhere, but. Yeah, I ended up with something around about 24 knee ops. And it didn't help when Jim got the pitch so flat and so hard. Didn't do me no favours at all, to be fair. But it was nice to play. Like I said, I finished at 37, and I think I'm very lucky to have had a career in football, really. Very lucky.
And are there any other sort of games or occasions that really stand out during your time at the club?
That's a toughie, 'cause like you said, it's that many years ago.
Of course.
But no, that first season, like I say, I remember the first game I got sent off, my first goal. Oh, and obviously, because I come from Walsall, we played Walsall about a month after I moved, and I managed to score twice, which was, that's up there with the cup run, I think, because when we left, it was at home against Walsall, and the Walsall fans cheered me off, made a massive thing, which was lovely.
Because do you realise as a player as well, it may not be something that you can reflect on till afterwards, but sort of the joy that you bring fans and how memorable your goals are, or how well the team does at the time when you're playing.
Yeah, I don't think you do until you finish, and that feeling when you score or when you win or something good happens is really hard to get back. It's a bit of a high. It's a bit of a drug, and I've not been able to recreate that feeling ever. I play golf now, which gets me a bit of the banter back and a bit of the competitive edge. But you don't realise. You just think it's going to keep going and going, but unfortunately, there's no way to recreate that feeling after a great win and that camaraderie.
I understand your golf is quite a high level as well.
Yeah. I didn't take that up till I finished. We were lucky enough to. I stopped playing at 37. We never done nothing for 2 years, me and my wife. So we moved on to a golf course. I took up golf, and it went from there really. And that's my release at the minute. That's where I get out of the wife's hair and go and relax. As often as I can.
And do you still look out for the obviously Wycombe results and the other teams that you've played for as well?
I'd love to say I do, but I don't. Like I said, when I got out of football, I got asked to commentate on a few games in Bournemouth because I'm that way a few years back, and I get asked to go here, there, and a little bit of scouting, but I've never done it because I just don't have any fun in watching the football. I don't watch results. So it was a clean break from football, really, because I think I'd have struggled not to be involved in it as in playing.
Sure. And I'm sure fans would love to know, what you're doing these days.
Yeah. I'm working at a college. We work with sensory education needs and disabilities. It's a new college, been open 2 years, and it's supporting them transitioning into life when they leave the college. I'm enrichment lead, so I discuss with them what they want to do and then try and help them achieve it, which is, it's mega rewarding. I love it. And again, the banter with the guys, it's from 19 to 25-year-olds. So we have a bit of banter, and they know that I used to play football, and I get pictures stuck on my desk and pictures all around the college, which is a little bit embarrassing because I look very young and I've got lots of hair.
And what would you say was so special about your time at the club? Because I guess what was really nice is because there was such a great group of you who had a mixture of youth and experience as well, and there was so much as you say, camaraderie and togetherness with the team.
Yeah, that was it. It was the team gelled so well, and training was great. Like you say, Gibbo and Sanch were great, and the club around the club was just a nice place to be. I was saying earlier, I was very sad to leave. I tried to stay as much as I could. I was enjoying it that much. But obviously the club was having a little financial issues, and I think me and Tails went in and tried to get us put on less money, and we was going to sign another year, but unfortunately it weren't doable. But I definitely wouldn't have gone anywhere else if I could have seen out my time at Wycombe.
It's really nice to hear. Overall, how would you say you reflect on your time at the club?
Yeah, definitely. And again, like I was saying, it's probably one of the clubs I've never been back to. I get invited back to, because after Wycombe, obviously I went to Bristol, and I think I've only played a handful of games there, but scored, vital goals that kept him in the league. And if I walk in Bristol, I get noticed everywhere, which is a bit ironic because, like I say, I think I played 14 games for him. But yeah, I go back there regular. I go to Walsall a lot because I've got a lot of friends and family that way. But I've never been back to Wycombe, and I was saying earlier, I think I'd love to get back and see the stadium and the pitch again. And some old faces would be nice.
No, absolutely. I'm sure you'd be really made very welcome, and the fans would be delighted to see you. And I know there's a game against one of your former clubs, Barnsley, coming up in a month or so as well.
There is, yes. I'm trying to free that up, so hopefully I can bring the wife up for a drive and see some old faces and get a bit of that atmosphere again. I'll have to put up with watching the football, I suppose, but I can do that for a game.
And really nice to be able to reflect on your time there and the goals that you scored and the success that you brought during your time at the club as well, I think. Yeah,
definitely. And because we don't get to see the guys, it'd be nice to reminisce a little bit. We had 10 years after the FA Cup run, we had a bit of a get-together, which was great. And, something like that again would be awesome, just to get, while we're still here, to be fair. Unfortunately, we've lost Macca, didn't we? Which was, it's devastating.
No, absolutely. It just sort of highlights how precious it is, doesn't it, to have the experiences, the shared experiences that you went through together, and can still that's what's great about the Ex-Player Association as well. That different generations of players and what you've achieved can really kind of like live on and be kept alive.
Yeah, most definitely, and it gives us a chance for us oldies to reminisce and tell everybody how good we were.
No, absolutely. I'm sure everyone listening can remember that very well. It's been fantastic to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time, and brilliant to share your memories.
Thank you very much, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent to catch up with Andy Rammell. Fantastic to speak to him from his home in Wareham, and brilliant to hear the work that he's doing with the youngsters at the moment. Quite surprising, isn't it, that he's not really following the football at the moment and is taking a clean break and is doing golf rather well as well. But I'm sure you have very good memories of Andy Rammell's goals at the club, scoring over 30 in more than 90 appearances as well. And strange to think that famous goal against Wolves, where he jumped in the snow, was 23 years ago. Yes, the 24th of April of January, as we reflected on a little earlier on. Really brilliant to catch up with him, and fantastic as always to work with the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association. Some of the brilliant former Chairboys he'll be featuring on the show in future weeks. Much to look forward to as well. Just a reminder that coming up fairly soon will be a chat with a former player who comparatively recently, well, very recently, went on to manage the club as well. You might have heard our chat with Gareth Ainsworth, which you can get on the Wanderers podcast feed as well. He's also currently quite busy as the lead singer of the Cold Blooded Hearts. They've got their debut album out, Cold Light of Day, which we chatted to him about, and he'll be coming on the show in a future episode to talk about his time obviously playing at the club. Came on loan initially, and then, of course, managing the club very successfully as well. That's coming up, and lots more former Wycombe Wanderers stars to look forward to on the Wycombe Wanderers Show here on Wycombe Sound.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Final third of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. Final third, yeah, I suppose it is. It's in 3 parts, isn't it? Sort of. And maths isn't my strong point. Still to come, we'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield speaking to Phil after last night's fantastic win in the Cup, the Bristol Street Motors Trophy quarter-final home to Brighton. Speaking of Cup wins, Wycombe Wanderers women progressed to the next stage of the League Cup with the brilliant win over Eastleigh on Sunday. The next action in the league at home at Burnham, 2 o'clock kickoff against Bournemouth Sports. Other news from the club, they've recently appointed a new coach, Danny Harrigan, who is a full-time coach at QPR as well. He's been speaking to Craig.
So, Danny, welcome to Wycombe Wanderers. How have you been finding it and settling in?
Yeah, so far so good. I got a chance to come in last week and meet the girls and Cole for the first time. So, yeah, second week, but so far so good, yeah.
How did you come into the position of Carl getting in contact with you and joining Wycombe Wanderers Women?
So I left women's football about 8 months ago now. Took a little bit of a break, and then after Christmas, got a bit of an itch to get back in. So I put something out on social media, just offering a hand if anyone needed help picking up the cones. And Cole reached out, come down, have a chat, turned into come and take the first training session, which was fine. And then since then, I think I came in on Thursday last week, felt really welcome. So I had a few other clubs I was talking to, but I think once I came in, got to meet the girls and Cole, I was like, I need to come to Wycombe. So, good start.
Well, we're very lucky to have you. What's been your coaching journey up to this point?
So I started coaching 17 years ago now. So started out doing football in the community, which I'm still doing full-time for QPR. Then I started in the academy at QPR as well, which I've been doing for 13 years. Started women's football at QPR reserves, moved on to managing at Tonians, the league above in the National League. And then, now joining Wycombe as part of my journey.
Any highlights along the way there?
Highlights, we had some good highlights. I like to develop young players. So at QPR, getting some young players through to our first team and going on to achieve other things is great. At Tonians, we always punched above our weight in the women's football side of things. So, I just really enjoy working with groups of players and making them believe that they can do things that maybe they've been told before they can't do, or within themselves they don't think they're able to do. So I've kind of made a bit of a reputation of getting people that people have written off and taken them where they didn't think they could go. Just try and they're the highlights for me, really.
On a Sunday afternoon in the dugout, where do you think your advice will be best given to the gaffer and the other coaches?
I think it's going to be an interesting position for myself. Obviously, I've done Cole's job elsewhere, so I know what information he's going to need and when he wants to hear it. So I'll be sitting in the background and then keeping my thoughts ready to go. So when Cole turns around and needs a calm head in the battle of the game, I'll be ready to feed back to himself and the other coaches. I think I'm going to enjoy not having to be the one under pressure as such. I'll be there ready to help Cole as best as I can and when he needs me to do so.
A bit less stressful then?
Oh, yeah, much less stressful. Yeah, not having to shout at people and annoy people's on a Sunday is definitely a highlight.
And, of course, we've just turned the year now. We're into the second half of the season. Next round of the League Cup on Sunday. Where do you see this Wycombe team ending up by the end of the season?
Hopefully. I think looking at the league table, I think there's a few, definitely more than a few winnable games in there. Since I come in here, and the reason I came here was to try and get the team as high as we possibly can, which I'm sure has always been the message anyway. But, I'm not here to give up my Sundays to not try and win every game we play. So League Cup, league games, friendlies, whatever it is, we'll be going to win.
Thank you for your time, Danny.
Always welcome.
Great to hear from Danny. And as mentioned, Wycombe Wanderers Women's first team have got a home match on Sunday at Burnham, taking on Bournemouth Sports as they continue the second half of their league campaign. Also this weekend, you might have heard us mention it last week, because Wycombe Wanderers are doing a number of activities around the Fleetwood game. It's a green football weekend coming up this weekend, and Wycombe Wanderers last week launched their sustainability strategy. If you listen to mid-mornings tomorrow or on Friday, the second, if you're listening on the podcast version, just after midday, which is chat to Mark Gateskill, who's the Chief Executive of the Foundation. We'll find out more about the sustainability strategy. You might have heard David Wheeler from the men's team and Bobby Lynch from the women have shared their recipes and a free green football weekend veggie cookbook for fans to try, and also then register as a goal for Wycombe Wanderers as well. So if you need a good winter warmer, there's a couple of recipes there for both the men's and women's teams for you to get involved with. You can go to greenfootballweekend.com to download the free Green Football Weekend Veggie Cookbook and find out other ways to score green goals for the club as well. And there's also in the news, you might have seen football's biggest climate campaign was launched as well. And there's lots going on over this weekend between the 2nd and the 5th. You might have seen as well. The club also, we mentioned this on last week's show a bit, but the Green Football Weekend has been launched, and the sustainability strategy has been launched as well. You can choose from over on the recipes book. You can choose from over 70 delicious recipes, and the future of football. The future of football is at risk due to the effects of climate change. You can learn more with 150,000 games already cancelled per year due to pitch flooding. By 2050, a quarter of UK football grounds will be flooded, with 1 in 4 teams expecting partial or total stadium flooding each year. You can have a look on the Wycombe Wanderers website to find out more about the sustainability strategy as well that the club has put together. You can read all of it. I won't go through the whole thing on the show, but there's lots to reflect on there. Also, the Wycombe Wanderers Foundation doing some great work with the Chairboys chats, which was usually on a Wednesday, but was moved this week because of the game with regard to Brighton Hove Albion's under-21s game, of course, which was moved from the Tuesday to the Wednesday. So, yes, that's that. And you might have also heard us mention again on last week's show that Wycombe Wanderers were recognised award winners in the EFL strategy, which we'll tell you more about in a few moments' time. First, though, let's reflect on last night's game at Adams Park. This is what you're waiting for, isn't it, really? Not my rambling. Wycombe Wanderers winning by 4-1, and Phil spoke to manager Matt Bloomfield after the game.
Gaffer, an emphatic win tonight, and now one step from Wembley. You must be delighted.
Yeah, really pleased, mate. Really pleased for the boys. We've obviously put a lot into this competition. We've always gone as strong as we can. So yeah, really pleased that we've been able to win tonight and get through to the semi-final.
A brace for Kieran Sadlier too, and some good confidence going into the league game on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I think Sads has been threatening more goals in his game. We spoke about it on Monday. I think his attacking output has been really good for us, delivering crosses and taking us up the pitch with his dribbling. So I'm really pleased for him to get a couple of goals. Obviously scoring the goals is good for the confidence of the lads, and I don't think it's anything more than what we've deserved with some of the recent performances. We've spoken about the amount of shots and crosses we've had, so yeah, really chuffed.
And real positives as well at fullbacks. Jason McCarthy, first start for the season, and a really good performance at left back for Kane Vincent-Young.
Yes, absolutely. Kane started the season off with us, then unfortunately had a bad hamstring injury and has found his way back. We've changed formation in the meantime as well, which probably hasn't helped his minutes, but he's been training extremely well, taking the disappointment of not playing really well and fought back in training, so he deserved that tonight. And obviously, we all know what big player Jace has been for us over the years here, and has missed a huge chunk of the season due to injury, so just to have him, his leadership and the way he conducts himself every day has been really good.
And probably the pick of the goals, Dale Taylor, a fantastic effort.
Yeah, Dale's a top player. I love working with Dale. He's just one of those lads that comes in with a smile on his face every day, gets on with his football, plays a couple of different positions when you ask him to. I think that he's been extremely good when he's been playing slightly deeper, coming onto things. He's a great solo goal tonight, but an all-round play. The amount of effort he puts into his performance. He's a real good guy, Dalo, and a top player, real top player.
And I guess the only bump in the road was the first half injury to Chris Farino, and it looked Joe Lowe maybe a knock as well in the second half. Yeah,
it's amazing, isn't it, how this game works. We lost Taft to illness this morning, so Joey comes back in. Then we lost Chris to a knock in the first half, and Joey to a knock in the second half. So look, I'm smiling because we're through, but it's not great losing 3 centre halves. We'll have to see how they are, patch them up next couple of days, and make sure we've got 2 of them ready for Cheltenham on Saturday.
And with Kane in at left back, it allowed Luke Leahy to push further forwards as well. Is that more food for thought for Saturday?
Absolutely, of course it is, yeah, because we signed Luke as a midfielder primarily when we signed him in the summer. But I think when we went to 3, he was elite as a left side of 3. He's done really well as a fullback as well, but I know that he wants to play more football in midfield if he can. So it's just, I thought tonight was the ideal opportunity to have a look at him. We've also got Butcher in the building now, which we're really chuffed about. So yeah, I think that the boys who play tonight and the way they performed, are give me plenty of food for thought over the next couple of days. Yeah,
you mentioned Matt Butcher and also Berily Labala, both new signings presented at half-time tonight as well. What are they going to offer the squad?
Well, Bez is going to offer us legs up front. I think since Brandon's been injured, we've just missed that physical output up front to complement Sam. We know that we've got high hopes for Richard Kone, and he certainly offers us that legs, but he's still a young boy and we don't want to run the risk of doing too much of him too soon. So we felt like having an extra body up there would complement our forward department. Yeah, and having Butch got promoted with Plymouth last year. I admired him when he was at Accrington a couple of years ago, and I thought he was a top player then. And then sometimes these things come around where you've got the opportunity to sign someone who you've liked for a few seasons. So with him being out of contract in the summer and us being able to offer a permanent contract, as soon as I spoke to him, he was very proactive. He wanted to come here. He's very complimentary about Wycombe and what we stand for and what he's heard. He's good mates with Dan Scar, who I know very well from his time here, and Scarsy obviously spoke really, really kindly of us as well. So it all just seemed to fit. So 2 real good characters who are going to come and complement the group we've already got.
Well, Gaffer, it's nothing personal, but we are keeping our distance this evening. You're in the wars a bit here. What's up?
Don't make me laugh. I've run into something that knocked me out for a couple of days. I worked Monday, and then Monday night just fell off a cliff, unfortunately. So I've been in bed for a couple of days. But I wanted to be here, stand shoulder to shoulder with the boys. I think in tough times we have to make sure we all stand together, and I wanted to make sure I was here with the lads. So I thought, the energy they played with tonight was perfect. So we're back in tomorrow. I'll keep my distance again. Make sure the prep's all done, ready for Cheltenham on Saturday.
Transfer deadline day tomorrow. Are you going to be busy there as well?
Yeah. I've had to ring my wife and apologise. I'm not getting over till this week, but we've won tonight, and if we can back that up with another good result on Saturday, she'll be fine. Deadline day tomorrow, so pleased to have this game tonight, obviously, to get in the way of that. But we've got another couple of things in the pipeline. We just want to make sure we're ready for the end of the season. I think today's shown you get a couple of knocks in the same area of the pitch. You've got to be ready to go. So we're still talking. I'm not going to rush anything through for the sake of it, but if one of the right ones we're in for comes off, then we'll be pleased to do it.
Wish Matt Bluefield, of course, a full recovery from his health problems from the week. Speaking to you on transfer deadline day, if you're interested, that thing I was mumbling on about earlier, I realised that we covered in last week's show about the bronze in the EFL equality, as I was fumbling around trying to paddle a little to see if there are any transfer developments as of yet. There is due to be, I can tell you unofficially, a new signing arriving in time for the deadline, but I'm told it's not set to be completed in time for the end of the show. But we've got a few minutes left. Anything can still happen. If you haven't heard as well, earlier in the week, it was confirmed that the club has extended the contracts of talented quartet Taylor Clark, Laurie Charlotte, and also Declan Skura, as well as Christy Ward, which is great news. The 4 youngsters have been successful products of the club's development squad programme. Sam Grace has done a brilliant job there, benefiting from exposure to senior football, either with the Blues or out on loan, while continuing to train alongside the Chairboys first team and receive dedicated coaching. Former West Ham and Ipswich Academy graduate Clark arrived in the summer from Needham Market and is currently out on loan at Farnborough, while keeper Charlotte has joined in pre-season after leaving Crystal Palace, and his first choice between the sticks at loan club Potters Bar Town currently. Defender Skura is on loan at Ebbsfleet United. You might know that already. In the National League, he signed from Kingstonian last season, and former Brockenhurst youngster Christy Ward has remained around the first team environment this season after a loan spell with Hungerford Town last term. Let's reflect on what's to come then. A trip to Cheltenham is in prospect on Saturday. 3 o'clock kickoff, match build up from 2 here on Wycombe Sound and on Wanderers TV. You have the whole match live as well with Phil and quite possibly with someone else in the squad edition by then as well. Then League One, Saturday 10th of February. The visit of Peterborough United could be quite fortuitous because they're one of the 3 other teams left along with Bolton and Blackpool in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. The draw for the semi-final is tomorrow evening at 6:30 or Friday the 2nd at 6:30 if listening on the podcast, because I'm laughing because I've just seen who the next opponents are as well. Bolton Wanderers will be hosting Wycombe on Tuesday the 13th. So we've got 2 of the next 3 opponents are one of the teams that we could be facing in that competition as well. It's a busy February. 17th sees a big game, a visit at Oxford at Adams Park. Then Wycombe's trip to Stevenage is on Saturday the 24th. And the month concludes, being a leap year of course, but 27th of Feb on Tuesday, another home game in the form of Cheltenham, who of course Wycombe are playing this Saturday as well. So they're rescheduled Cheltenham game, and things could be looking a lot different by then. The club unfortunately have currently slipped to 19th in League One with just 1 win in 17 games in the division, just above Port Vale, only 1 point. Port Vale are the only team above the bottom 4 consisting of other strugglers. Fleetwood, of course, who played last Saturday, Carlisle, Cheltenham, who are our next opponents, and Reading. So this could be a good opportunity to get maximum points, although we did say that again about Fleetwood, didn't we? And then also on 31 are Charlton, Burton are just a point further ahead, as are Cambridge, and then Shrewsbury on 33, Exeter also on 33, Wigan are on 34, Lincoln are on 35. Don't worry, I'm not reading them all out. It's like the classifieds. Bristol Rovers are on 11th with 37. The point is that just a win or 2 wins could see Wycombe climbing back up the table very, very soon. Just 7 out of the 28 League One games have been victories so far. But a busy February to come. As mentioned, a trip to Cheltenham on Saturday, then a week later, back in action at home to Peterborough on Saturday. That could be a big game as well, couldn't it? Bolton away on Tuesday, of course, and don't forget, tomorrow we'll find out whether either Bolton, Peterborough, or indeed Blackpool will be our next opponents in the semi-final of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. 1 game away from Wembley. It really has been a fantastic competition, hasn't it? We were talking to Phil a little earlier on about how well the club has done against the under-21 teams as well in that division, already knocking out West Ham and Brighton, and got a couple of players on loan, of course, from West Ham's young team as well. So an exciting time for the club. You've heard the manager and Phil speaking to us in recent weeks about how close things have been, just fine margins in these games, conceding goals late on in games, which is something which will hopefully be cut out. It's great to see the team last night doing so well, scoring 4 goals. Looks like they could have gone on and got more as well. So that bodes really well for the future. Hopefully they can cut out conceding late. Brought in some new signings. Could be one more to come as well tonight, which is very exciting, with some great attacking options in midfield. As Phil mentioned a little earlier on as well, we saw Luke Leahy pushing further forward as well, likes to get forward in midfield, so might be some more goals from him. Exciting times. There's still plenty of games to play with, 17, 18 games to come as well in League One. So as mentioned, the league table could be looking very different in a comparatively short period of time. I'm padding slightly because I'm just trying to see if there are any other sort of deals being confirmed. But as I say, I think it's anything's going to be confirmed a little late for the show, which is unfortunate. But I can't bring any more news currently of a new signing confirmed as yet. Join us next week, though, where any new signing we'll be telling you about a little more concrete. We'll be reflecting on that game against Cheltenham as well. And lots more to bring you, including another ex-player. Brilliant chat to Andy Rammell this week as well. And more from the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association. More from Wycombe Wanderers women as well, as they continue the second part of their season. Still nothing. And Thanks for listening. And yes, a reminder to join us on Saturday for a match build-up from 2. Full match commentary with kick-off at 3, and you'll hear the whole match live here on Wycombe Sound 106.6 in the Wycombe area, and on Wanderers TV as well. That's it from us. I can drag it out no longer. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show, and don't forget to download the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. It's on the Wycombe Sound radio player page on YouTube, not just in Poshcards. And also there's the Listen Again feature on the website, wycombesound.org.uk. That's wycombesound.org.uk. Have a great week. Fingers crossed for 3 points on Saturday at Cheltenham.